We're going to talk about if Gypsy Rose Blanchard should have gotten CPS called on her. There's some people on the far right, the far left, and some people that land in the middle. But I just want to give you the facts. Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay Unfiltered, and today we will be looking at the video that started the drama, the allegations, the accusations, and the legal terminology for what DCFS considers true mistreatment. I can't say the word that I really want to say, but you guys understand where I'm going with this. So we're going to cover everything. But first, I think it's important that we talk about the pure definition. You guys saw the video in the beginning, and I'll insert the video in again in the middle. The Department of Children and Family Services investigates mistreatment of children, as we all know. They say that they investigate suspected child or neglect by a caretaker. They define this as caretakers being any person legally obligated to provide or secure adequate care for a child, including a parent, tutor, guardian, legal custodian, foster home parent, an employee of an early learning center, an operator of an employee, so forth and so on. So, of course, with Gypsy and Ken being the parents, they would be the caretakers of this child, and anybody else like a nanny, a babysitter, correct? Now they go on to define mistreatment. We're going to replace the word here. They go on to define mistreatment as this. It means any one of the following acts would seriously endanger the physical, mental, or emotional health and safety of the child. Number one would be the infliction, attempted infliction, or as a result of inadequate supervision, the allowance of the infliction of attempted infliction of physical or mental injury upon that person, that young person, by their parent or any other person. And they also go on to explain it as the exploitation or overwork of a child by a parent or any other person, including but not limited to commercial exploitation of the child. The involvement of the child in any act with a parent or other person. Now, we shouldn't have to go into detail into that one as much, but how does child exploitation look? How does child mistreatment look, and where do we draw the line? Okay, so I'm going to insert the video again that Gypsy Rose posted on May 13th. Gypsy Rose said that her baby was extremely colicky. So you guys can look at it again, evaluate it for yourselves, and I will tell you then what the woman who reported Gypsy Rose said. I did do a brief overlook of this situation on my live stream on Monday, and the woman who filed this did come through in the comments to talk to us a little bit more about where she was coming from. This woman's name is Chrissy G. Thanks on YouTube. Chrissy, thanks for coming in the comments and clarifying. It does make for a good conversation. But she says, I called and it's because I'm concerned for the baby. I put a little statement out and I answered a lot of questions on my TikTok. And she continues to say she put that live up with the baby screaming and her filming it on Sunday the 13th. I called the following morning, but that was just the icing on the cake that pushed me over the edge. She says that she was watching the live and answering things as she was watching it, and she didn't feel as though Gypsy was supported by everyone around her, or she wouldn't be doing the dumb shit she's doing. If these people are around her and they care, they would have said something to her long before I made a phone call. And if someone was around her, they'd be helping her with the baby instead of her setting up her camera to film her child screaming in pain. That time she set the camera up could have been spent trying to help her baby, but that baby was screaming in pain while she was worried about the telephone. Where were the people helping her? And this wasn't a frivolous call. I know you didn't say it was, but I'm just letting you and your viewers know that this came from a real place of concern, and I'm positive that I got my point across in a level-headed way, and I gave them a path to see it on their own so they don't have to go just by my word. They have her TikTok. They have all seen it on their own. So at the end of the day, their decision was their decision, and it was just brought to their attention by me. I was worried about CPS not taking it seriously because of all of the people calling for no other reason than they don't like Gypsy or disagree with the baby not wearing socks. The wrong time for me would be when it's too late. Gypsy brings all this extra shit down on herself. All of that extra stuff wasn't what I was reporting on. And from what I've seen, it was the perfect time because it wasn't too late. From what I can understand, Chrissy's point of view in making this phone call to Child Protective Services was Gypsy Rose didn't seem to give her baby as much attention as she gave the camera. From what I could see on the 13th, the live from Sunday that she's talking about, the baby does seem to be in pain, fussy, but can I, from looking at it, tell that it's an abusive situation? No, me personally, I can't from looking at that clip. But I do understand everyone's situation and how everyone perceives things is different. The way I look at something may not be the same way you look at something. I talked to another anonymous subscriber and she gave her opinion on the matter. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
Out there are suffering actual, real, true abuse and need the help of CPS. So to sit here and call CPS over something like that is wrong. Just because you want to see Gypsy in trouble, it's wrong. Sorry.
So you have two different points of view. You have people saying that, this wasn't a harmful thing. You have people saying that maybe it was just gas. You have people saying that other things seem to be going on in the background. I'm going to go ahead and offer my personal opinion. Personally, I don't have any direct interactions with CPS, but I know it's a great tool to use when needed. And in saying that, I feel like we've seen situations of active child mistreatment playing out in front of our eyes. When I look at people like Ruby Frankie, when I look at people like Lori Daybell, we see that mindset in them shift kind of before the abuse takes place. But I also feel as though it's important for us to use the resources wisely. And in saying that, I mean, don't call if you don't have a legitimate reason to. You can't just say, I dislike this person so much. People do that out of spite. They have somebody that they don't like, they do not like, and they will try to turn things upside down for them in their lives. And that action in itself is logging up the queue of children who are out there being battered within inches of their lives. So that's kind of the point that I was making there. I'm not saying by any means Christy was doing that. I think she thought that through and had the child's best interest in mind when calling. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys to tell me in the comments, like, Lindsay, you're wrong. You're fully 100% wrong. Or the caller was wrong. However you feel about the situation, this is a safe space. When you look at that paperwork, it looks as if the report was filed on 4/14/2025, a day after. Like she said, it was something she saw, was concerned, and acted on it with the child with the initials of AB. Shouldn't it be AA or AU? But it's AB, so it lets us know that Aurora has Gypsy's last name, right? Or Rod's last name, however you want to put it. And I'm pretty sure people didn't know that because Gypsy's on Lifetime telling us the baby's going to be an Anderson. So did she know from the beginning the baby was going to be I don't know. But that's, little key details like that help us figure out things. The information provide meets the legal agency definition of a report. An investigation will be conducted or is already conducted. Will we hear about this from Gypsy? I don't think so. Gypsy doesn't want anything like this to manifest on social media in any way for her. Will we see her recording agents? Or I definitely don't think that's the way she's going to approach a situation like this. I do feel as if since it's out here publicly now, it should be addressed publicly. If the case is closed or whatever the findings will be, I'm pretty sure they'll report that back to the person who filed this complaint. So I'm sure we'll have some type of update on that soon. So, and it's always important, if you see something, say something. A lot of people or children in these situations people just turn a blind eye to, okay? So it seems as if we need to most definitely pay attention to what's going on. But in that, don't let your spite for another person make you do something that is trying to harm them, subsequently going to harm their children who are innocent in the matter. You should be calling from a place, in my opinion, who the hell am I, right? But in my opinion, you should be calling from a 100% place of concern for the child. Not saying that anyone in this video didn't do that, but I'm just saying, people like to jump on bandwagons and do things of that nature. And I've seen it happen to other content creators. That's why it touches me in a different way, because I've seen people with lots of kids having CPS coming to their door 7-8 times, and it's only because of hate. It's only because of that vitriol towards the creator themselves. And I think that basically sets us back when it comes to finding out who these people are and what they're doing. Okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been interesting for me to make. We have a lot of different perspectives. We have no comment from Gypsy Rose on this matter yet. I believe if you get that, put it in the comments down below. But I want to know your input. Would you have done the same thing? Why or why not? I appreciate everybody who comments, likes, subscribes. It means the world to me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. This has been Lindsay Unfiltered. Bye now.